Hey there, beautiful people. This is Joy Lynn from Intention Tarot. This week I wanted to do a reading that was focused on what makes you attractive, first of all. So maybe this is a little confidence boost for you if you're listening to this reading out there, that there are things that make you really attractive and special and unique. And maybe you just kind of need it called to attention what those things are. And so that's what this reading is focused on, is highlighting something that makes you really attractive to others. But maybe it's also a quality that is great for attracting positive things into your life. And so we just want to highlight that and kind of see what that quality is. And then the second part of this reading is going to be, how can you maximize that? So how can you really amplify whatever it is that you have to offer that's attractive and that's appealing? How can you really maximize that for your own benefit? So it's really a two-part reading in this pick-a pile this week. So I'm using a few different decks. I'll kind of highlight those first. This one is called the Untamed Elemental. Really beautiful deck. I picked this one actually up at a bookstore. I just kind of came across it and I felt really attracted to it. So I'm excited that this is the first reading I'm going to draw this into as far as public readings go. And this one, the Serpent Fire Sigil Oracle. There's not a lot of cards in this deck, but it does really pack a punch. I feel like it has really strong symbolism. It's very graphic, kind of like this Untamed Elemental deck as well. So really bold, really out there, kind of says things loud and proud, and I thought it was really great for this reading in particular. The next deck is the Wild Unknown Archetypes. First of all, I love the round shape. I always love kind of an unusual feature on a deck, but this one in particular, it looks like a diamond here. So the backs all look like diamonds, and it made me think of that Rihanna song, if I'm being honest, and a little bit cheesy, like Shine Bright Like a Diamond. So I felt like this one really fit in this reading in particular. And then we also have the 8th House Tarot. So this is a really cool deck, very fiery, as you can see on the back here. Love this deck. Again, very bold, bright, says things in a really clear way. So we're going to pull this deck in. And just to finish things off, I am going to use this Louise Hay How to Love Yourself deck. It's just affirmations that maybe it's something you need to hear and reiterate to yourself. So I'll kind of use this one as a capper on the reading today. If you've never done a pick-a-pile, this is how it works. I'm going to shuffle these decks. I'm going to set 3 piles. Each pile has a crystal attached. I intuitively picked some crystals here. So you've got bloodstone, lapis lazuli, and a piece of moonstone as well. And so just go towards whichever pile you feel drawn to. I'm going to timestamp it down in the information section of the reading. So if you want to jump ahead, by all means, go for it. Also, feel free to watch any and all readings that you feel drawn to. So there's no rules here. It's just go with whatever, go in whichever direction your heart takes you, I guess I should say. So with that being said, let me go ahead and start shuffling. I'm going to move these decks out of the way until we get to shuffling them around. And today's reading is going to have 3 piles. So I'm going to pick 3. Whoop. Like I said, you can see how bright these cards are. There's something about a bold image that I just really, really love. So this should be a great deck to use. It's bold, kind of like my nails today. I decided to go with an orangey color. Something really confident to fit our theme. All right. Let's see. What is an attractive quality you have? And how can we bring it to the forefront? I'm feeling this and this for pile number 3. Okay, let's kind of line those up there. All right. Our next deck was the Serpent Fire Sigil Oracle. Serpent Fire also makes a tarot deck, which is equally as lovely, but I really just kind of wanted to use the Oracle cards today. I felt called towards them. That feels right. That feels right. Whoops. There we go. And this one for pile number 3. Okay, next let's get into our diamond deck, our wild unknown archetypes. I will say the only thing that's tricky about a circular deck like this is it does feel slightly awkward to handle and shuffle, but I think it still has a lot to offer, so I'm not totally going to put it down. Okay, whoa, that kind of just rolled out at me. Little surprise here. Let's see what we've got. Oh, sorry, the perfectionist in me wants to just keep all of these as straight as possible. There we go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I feel like those 2. Got 1, and we've got 2 again. So that's how we'll set that up. Looks like piles 1 and 3, you guys will get an extra oracle card there. And we've got our 8th house tarot. I'm gonna pull 3 tarot cards for this reading. I kind of like to read in 3s. I don't know why that is, but I just always feel kind of like triangulation. I feel like if you can triangulate the meaning out of something, it helps clarify a lot. So, you know, to do that, you need 3 points to orient yourself. So let's do 3 cards. Pile number 2. What do you need to know about what makes you attractive? And how can you amplify that? Whoop, I almost flipped it. I guess I'll just flip it. You've got Ace of Earth there, which would be Ace of Pentacles in a traditional deck. That one, oh, this one pops out. Okay, so pile number 2, there you go. And pile number 3, what makes you attractive? This one flipped over. We have the 5 of Fire to be 5 of Wands. So we've got a little preview there for you, pile number 3. Let's draw 2 more cards. Okay, what makes you attractive and how can you amplify that? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this first oracle card that we drew and use that as our marker for the reading. So I'm just going to set pile number 1. I'm going to set you guys off to, let me set you off to the side over here. Okay, pile number 3. Wow, what a cool card. Okay, I'm going to shift this a little bit, line it all up. Okay, pile number 2, I'm going to set you off over here. And then pile number 3, you got Thunderbolt. Wow, very cool. Okay, so let's set that there. Okay, so we've got piles 1, 2, and 3. Like I said at the start of the reading, just go towards whichever one you feel the most drawn to, whether that's like the crystal that is calling to you. Here we have Bloodstone. In the center we have Lapis Lazuli. And then off to the side here, we have a moonstone, which looks kind of opalescent. It's really cool. I just thought, like, we pulled the 5 of Wands for you, pile number 3, and wands are always, like, associated with a fire element, but I see kind of some fire inside of this opal as well, so maybe that draws you in. And then as far as cards, pile number 1, you've got the Whale. Very cool. Pile number 2, you have Divine Feminine. And pile number 3, you have got Thunderbolt. It is electric. I just feel so much fire coming off of pile number 3. You must be a feisty one, pile number 3, if you're gravitating towards that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause, and then we'll start the readings for each pile. So again, it's timestamp below if you, oh, sorry, that keeps falling down. It's timestamp below. If you want to go ahead and jump to whichever reading you feel called towards, by all means do that. You can watch any and all of the readings. There's no limitations here. Okay, let's get going. Hey there, pile number one. So you had the Bloodstone as well as the Whale card for your Oracle card. I'm going to talk about the Oracle card first. Let me set our zone here. This card, I feel like I was definitely drawn towards, we have these two images here, which appears to be two people. We kind of have the shape of a whale going on, and I kind of almost feel like these are two people that are riding the waves or like surfing the waves. But I do feel like for you, pile number one, you're kind of like looking for your equal, or you're looking for your tribe. You're looking for the people who are a match to you. And I think also you're really good at kind of like meeting people on their level. So meeting in the middle or finding that middle ground. But also like a deep thinker, because the more I look at this card and think about whales, oh, sorry, let me move that so you can see it a little better. Whales, they take a deep dive. They're really great at holding their breath. Like, they don't have gills like fish do, so they don't really breathe underwater, but they are able to hold their breath for a long time. And so I think they're able to really also hold out until they get what it is that they're looking for. So if they've dove down to, like, find food or find some kind of resource, they can do that. They can really go deep, and they can hold out and wait for the thing it is that they want. And that is actually a very attractive quality to have. Like, people who know what they want and they know what they're looking for. I mean, I kind of saw this eye in the center of the chest that it's like, you know what you're looking for, you know what you love too. It's like you see very clearly from your heart space what it is that you're drawn towards. And I don't think you really have a lot of doubts about that. Like, you know what attracts you, and you're willing to hold out in order to get it. And you can hold out actually for a very long time. So there's something about people who have standards like that and who have a certain level of like quality that they demand, that other people admire that a lot. And so I think that's something for you, pile number one, that is definitely coming to the surface. If we're talking about taking a deep dive, this is floating up now to the surface for you. So maybe it's a hidden quality that you weren't really aware of before, but you definitely have it. So let's keep that in mind. I'm just going to put this in the center. And let's talk about your bloodstone. So I always feel like the stone can almost be read like an oracle card, which bloodstone, I want to say, like, there's fire in the blood. There's something that really lights you up, and like it is a deep down passion. I was talking about pile number three being sort of fiery, but pile number one, like, you've got a little flash of that as well. And I don't think that it's always really apparent. Again, I think it's kind of like deep down underneath all of those deep, dark waters. But you do feel very strongly, and when that comes out, it lights other people up as well. So there you have it. That's your bloodstone. That's the crystal. So if you felt really drawn to this one, that could definitely be why. So we'll keep that in mind as we pull out the rest of your cards, which, let me grab those out here. Let's go in order. I'm going to pull out the Serpent Fire Sigil, and we have Anahata. This is actually the heart chakra. So in the Serpent Fire Sigil deck, it's got a few different categories of cards, but the chakras are one, and Anahata is the heart center. So again, I feel like bloodstone, there's something that really runs deep, like down to your core. And the bloodstone also has a lot of green in it, which green is a symbolic color for the heart chakra. So I think there's a lot that, like, those deep emotions, those deep feelings, those deep drives, once they are visible to others, I think that really attracts them. And also thinking about the heart, that the heart emits an electromagnetic field that when you are acting out of that space or speaking out of that space, like speaking out directly from your heart, that I think it emits a frequency that is attractive to people for reasons that they don't understand. You don't really even have to say anything. Once your heart energy in that electromagnetic field is emitting at a certain frequency of just relaxation and love and warmth, people are automatically drawn to that. And so I feel like that is coming up for you with this Sigil Oracle card. Put that there. I'm going to move it so it doesn't get a lot of glare. There we go. I kind of want to look at your tarot cards first, because I feel like the next thing we need to talk about is any kind of potential block for you, pile number one, and maybe how you can move through that to really amplify whatever is happening here. And I just noticed, again, we have these little like eyes over the center of the heart, and we also have the heart chakra. So there's definitely something here about the heart and seeing through the heart. So let's see what you have. Oh, you have the Four of Fire. This would be the Four of Wands in a traditional deck. And again, very fiery. You've got a lot of fire going on already in this reading. Let's keep that in mind. I'm going to move this down here. Oh, you have another four. This is the Four of Earth. And in this particular deck, the 8th House Tarot, they talk a lot about the astrology here. So they put like the I don't know what would you call it. The word is escaping me at the moment, but the position of the planets in any given sign, they give that on this card. So we've got Four of Earth, Sun in Capricorn. And our last tarot card is the Queen of Water, or what would be the Queen of Cups, which is, for the court cards, they give the elements. So we have water in water. Very emotional, which again would lead us back to like this heart space card, that like there's definitely a lot coming out of your heart chakra that is magnetizing you and drawing people in. I mean, they almost can't resist. It's like a force that they just feel like they have to approach. Okay, so let's think about all of this together. I do feel like you have a lot of contrast here, pile number one. So you have the Four of Wands, which would be very celebratory, like wanting to connect with friends, having a great time, feeling like you have your tribe, which also brings me back to the whale card, that whales do travel in packs. They are social animals. They travel together. If they get lost, they don't like that. They want to always kind of be together. So I feel like you have this going on. But then also the Four of Earth is someone who can kind of grasp or want to hold on to or restrict and constrict in an attempt to control whatever it is that's at hand. So I do feel like there's a big contrast here. I was also just thinking, what number is the heart chakra? So we've got root, sacral, solar plexus, heart. Okay, so the heart chakra is the 4th chakra. And so I think there's definitely a connection here. Like something is going on where I think maybe at times you feel really free flowing and like just want to have fun and celebrate and go out for occasions with your friends. There's also this part that's just like closed off and wanting to constrict and withdraw. And this Queen of Water, I feel like, again, we've got a heart image here, and that heart is in a pair of hands. So the hand is actually offering the heart forward. The thing that I feel like I want to say with this card is to lead with your heart. So like whatever your heart is drawing you to do, that's okay. That's fine. That's what you should go with. And And as long as you're doing that, you know, even though you have times where maybe you feel like more social and like you want to be out and about and be with friends, or other times where you're like, oh, I'm not feeling it. I kind of just want to be a homebody. Because this Four of Earth, it can also be home and just feeling comfortable and stable in your home. That I think for you, pile number one, is kind of like whatever you want to do, whatever is coming from your heart, that's what you should do. So whether that means you need to withdraw for a little while or be social and with family and friends, like it's all totally okay. I think the more you master going with the flow and just allowing things to flow through your heart freely, you're better able to process kind of what's going on around you and respond to the environment accordingly. And it brings me back again to this bloodstone. That bloodstone is also great for circulation. So like allowing that flow, allowing things to just move through you rather than grasping or trying to control. It's definitely going to work out better for you and be a lot healthier for you, honestly. So put that down here. I'm just going to kind of shift some of these over. I wish this camera were better at focusing on both like distance and away. I'm still messing around with the focus on this thing. Okay, so we've got two for you from this Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. We first have the Eternal Child, which again is the number 4. And we have a lot of imagery here, which is like radiating outward and like this rainbow of color and this sun and these two hands again, that it's almost like within your very center is this large amount of energy and enthusiasm and love, and like you feel things so deeply coming out of your heart. But I do feel a little bit like maybe life has got you feeling like you can't be open because it's just ruined any sense of innocence you've had. Like the bad things that have happened or tough times or obstacles, challenges, whatever, has maybe made you feel like you can't keep that innocence almost. Like the eternal child, it's almost like you want to keep that innocence forever. But there's always going to be things that feel like they're getting in the way of that. And so I do feel like there is a way to maintain this state of being. Let's look at the next card and just kind of see what that gives us. The Pilgrim. And here we've got the number 20. The Pilgrim. The first thing that comes to mind when I'm thinking of a pilgrim is like, it's someone who's got a destination in mind. So it's not so much about all of the challenges. Like when someone goes on a pilgrimage, they go out into the world, into the unknown. They have a goal in mind. They're trying to get somewhere and attain something, but there's, you know, marks along the way or guideposts along the way, things along the way that maybe it doesn't always work out the way that you planned it to when you first set out on this journey. But you do eventually get there and you do arrive at that goal. And I think the most important thing is keeping your sights set on what it is that you want to arrive at. And that sort of helps you kind of like lose focus of everything else going on in the background. And right as I said that, I felt like all of this imagery here where it's more sort of fluid and then the center is more defined. It's like that inner eye. And again, we have someone who's seeing out of their heart here. The more you're seeing things from that space and keeping your perspective in that space, I think the less all of this exterior stuff starts to matter. So that may be a piece of advice for you to take away, pile number 1. We will put that down here, but that is your reading. I really hope that it helped. And oh yeah, we wanted to pull one last set of cards. This is the Louise Hay How to Love Yourself cards. And this is just an affirmation. This may be something that you want to take away to like journal on or meditate on in the weeks ahead. But let's see what you have here. I felt drawn to this one. I look for things to be thankful for. again, like I feel like where you're putting your focus and what you decide to focus on, whether that's negative or positive, is really going to change your experience of being able to live out of your heart and speak out of your heart and maintain that certain level of purity and innocence that you're looking for, pile number one. So focus on what you're thankful for. Focus on the good things, the positive things that happen. And on the back, we have another phrase here. I have a perpetual attitude of gratitude. I am content to be who and what I am. Beautiful. So I'm going to leave that here, pile number one. Again, that is your reading. I hope that this brings you more light, more energy, more joy into your life, and that this gives you maybe something to work on as you're going forward, but also something to be grateful for. And hit like, hit subscribe, follow me for more free readings. We will see you in the next one, pile number one. Thanks. Bye. Hey there, pile number two. I've got some great things in store for you, pile number two. I can just feel it. First of all, because this card is just gorgeous, and it's Divine Feminine. I feel like there's this really beautiful balance going on in this card, like really great symmetry, great colors that all balance each other out. And I think that's maybe a key feature of feminine energy is it's like it knows how to balance itself. It knows what's needed when and how and why, and it takes care of itself. I feel like the masculine energy is more about like go and do, accomplish things, get all the tasks checked off the list, but the divine feminine is more like just let it be, like let it work itself out and it'll all be okay. So I think you have that going on for you as like pile number two. I feel like you're a pretty chill person and reinforcing that idea is also this lapis lazuli. Lapis lazuli again is all about intuition. Also like the throat chakra with the color blue here, that like maybe you really know how to speak your truth and you know when to say things and how to say them. It's kind of like you know how to put it all together because you're really tuned in to that intuition, and kind of seeing things for what they are and having that longer perspective maybe than other people do who are a little more short-sighted. So yeah, I just feel like you're someone who's really grounded, pile number two, and you know how to keep a good balance in your life, and people respect that. So that's a great place to start from. Let me grab your other cards. Well, just that over here. I kind of want to start with your tarot cards, which I used these in the last reading for pile number one as like how to bring more attraction into your life, or like how to highlight these attractive qualities. So we'll keep that in mind when we are looking at these. And I feel like I should pull this center one first. We've got the Eight of Fire. That would be the Eight of Wands in a traditional deck. And I mentioned this to you for pile number one, is that this 8th house tarot, it highlights the astrology for each card. So we've got Mercury in Sagittarius. Very positive card. I feel like Sagittarius is always like this happy-go-lucky energy, and then Mercury is very communicative, which brings me back to what I said about the throat chakra here with the lapis lazuli. So I feel like you have very buoyant, fun energy, and like you know how to express yourself really well. Let's see. Whoop. We also have the Empress. Wow. So this is represented by Venus, the number 3. Again, very feminine. I mean, if we had a card in the tarot deck that was like the equivalent of this divine feminine oracle, it would probably be the Empress. It's like you are grounded, comfortable, enjoying your physical senses, like so luxurious, and just knows how to enjoy, like whether that's a good meal or a long hot bath, like you know how to enjoy yourself and also take care of yourself physically. And if you don't feel like that's true for you, like if you don't feel like you have this buoyant, fun, like knows how to communicate and communicate on the fly as well. If you don't feel like that's coming to the surface for you, remember that you have it. That is a quality that you do have. I think maybe it's just a matter of tuning into it and finding ways to express it or to reconnect to it. So let's see, maybe this last card will give us a hint on how you can connect to that. Let's see. Oh, the Ace of Earth. Oh yeah, we pulled, yeah, this one flipped over while we were doing the pile picking. So Ace of Earth, this represents all of our earth signs, which are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And here's I'm looking at this, the forestry in this and like the leaf in this person's hand is standing out a lot. I feel like nature maybe is really important for you. Like if you want to connect to this very grounded, expressive, creative, happy-go-lucky energy, walking in nature. I am also thinking of like forest baths, like just being in the forest and immersing yourself in that environment. That might be something that you need to be able to recenter and reconnect, especially to the physical. The fact that this is the Ace of Earth, that it has a lot to do with physicality and being in the body. And maybe you just kind of need to ground and connect to that and connect to the physical world in a very, very tangible way, I think, for you to be able to tap into that energy. And I think once you do that, because we have the color green here, which was also very present for pile number 1, that doing that allows you to reconnect to your heart energy and feel a lot more centered and like you're radiating more attractive qualities out to the world. Okay, so let's set that there. Yeah, we'll look at this one first. This is our Wild Unknown Archetypes card. And you have the crone. Oh my goodness. All right, so we've got like a Star of David down there, and I'm noticing this is like a type of pentacle down here at the bottom, which we also had Ace of Earth. That would also be an Ace of Pentacles. And the crone. I'm already thinking of like ravens and crows and what I've seen them do. Is there scavengers? So I do feel like maybe pile number 2, you're feeling like you don't get to pick and choose. You kind of just have to pick up the leftovers. Like whatever is left is what you get. And that might connect into this whole idea of being connected to the divine feminine and knowing how to take care of yourself and being really centered, grounded, and in the body with this Empress card. That maybe you're someone, you get so preoccupied with the needs of other people that you forget to take care of yourself. And it makes you feel older than you are. And you also feel, like I said with this raven, that they are kind of scavenger birds from what I've seen. Like they kind of just pick up trash or pick up whatever other people leave around, which is a smart strategy for them. But from your perspective on this, I do feel especially like you kind of use all your energy up with other people and then you feel like you only have a little bit left for yourself. Like there's just this one coin. And it could just be like a penny, you know, like you don't have a lot, you just have like this tiny little amount left for yourself. And so there's definitely some work that you might need to do to amplify these great attractive qualities that you have and bring them out and make them shine. That I think you need to just make more time for yourself. Like don't give everything away. Don't make yourself a scavenger. Like carve out that time for yourself. And then whatever is left after that, that's for everyone else. So there's a reversal, I think, that needs to happen, which I kind of see a reversal here as well in this card. Okay, this last one, this is the Serpent Fire Sigil, and this is Spectrum. First thing that stands out on this card is that in the center, we have this black and white, and we also have black and white on either side. So I think there's a contrast going on between seeing things in very black and white terms, like it has to be this way, versus seeing all of these different shades and colors within the spectrum. And initially, this kind of turns my thoughts towards like maybe you just need to learn to see things differently. Like it's not so black and white. It's not set in stone. It doesn't always have to be this way. There's a lot of different things that you could try, and also more color that you could have in your life, more joy that you could have in your life. I think if you stopped seeing things that way and looking at things as like, well, it's either this or it's that. It's like, no, there's like all these other options in between. So that's another piece of advice for you, I think, pile number 2 is like, you can have it all. You can have all the colors of the rainbow, but you've been limiting yourself, I think, to just these 2. And it's definitely time to expand beyond that. Okay, I'll set that down there. The very last card I was going to pull is from this Louise Hay How to Love Yourself affirmations deck. I told pile number 1, this is a fantastic way to journal or just kind of use for meditation. This is something you can focus on, and that one literally fell out. So let's see what it says. I am open and receptive to all good. This also has a second side. So it says, I deserve to live in an atmosphere of joy and acceptance. I'm going to leave this side up because I think this one is more pertinent to what we're talking about here. Pile number 2, you deserve it. You deserve to feel comfortable. You deserve to be taken care of. You deserve to have time for yourself and to take care of yourself and to look and feel your best. I think you just need to accept that and then also work towards creating that for yourself. So you already have it. It's already something that I think is also going to attract more support for you the more you tune into this. Like the more you're centered in yourself and feeling great and feeling attractive, the more other people want to jump on board with whatever it is that you're doing. And so just remember you deserve that. And like you already have this quality, you just need to allow it to be. And that is what's going to attract in what you need to have out of any given situation and be able to have more joy and pleasure in life. If we're talking about pleasure, that Empress card stands out. The like life is meant to be enjoyed. It's not all just gloom and doom and hard work and stress. So keep that in mind, pile number 2, as you go throughout the rest of this week. I hope that helps. I hope that you got a lot out of this and maybe some takeaways for the next phase of your life. But if you want to see more readings like this or book a one-on-one, definitely like, subscribe. There'll be more posts like this in the future. Or you can go to my website, which is also listed in the notes section below, and book a one-to-one reading. But until then, have a great week and bye. Hey, pile number 3. So when we were picking your pile, I felt something electric coming off of your reading. And maybe that is a large part of the draw that people feel towards you, is just how electric you are. That like you're so fired up and like feisty and even maybe spontaneous. I mean, I almost said unpredictable, but I think it's more so like spontaneity, that you just know how to have fun in the moment, and it's like these bursts and flashes of energy, and it lights people up. They feel like they're on fire, much like this moonstone, which again is very opalescent. We see these little flashes of some kind of fire in there as we turn it in the light. So this is someone who's really attuned to cycles. If we're thinking about moonstone and like cycles of the moon, it's someone who knows how to transition between those energy cycles and those fluctuations, and also understands timing. That like timing is everything, and then kind of know when to come in and when to make their exit. But also highly intuitive and very emotional, because the moon is associated with emotions and even the body. I think you're also somebody who's comfortable in their own skin, like comfortable with their feelings and comfortable with that flow and like the cycle of feelings as they move through you. So definitely very attractive qualities here. Let me pull out your other cards, which I set off to the side. I'm going to start with the Serpent Fire Sigil for you. Ooh. Oh, whoa. This is Muladhara, which is the root chakra. So I think there's also, again, something here about the body, like very comfortable in your own skin. Pile number 3, like maybe you're sporty, maybe you're really athletic or physical, or you like dancing, something along that line, but like very comfortable moving your body and like grounded in your body. And that's a huge draw for people. They're like, how is she so comfortable and confident in herself? It's, that unspoken confidence that is radiating and electrifying to others around you. So we will keep that there. Actually, I do want to pause and say about this card too, that the root chakra can sometimes be associated with instability. So I think what you're projecting to other people is that you are very stable and grounded and like you've got it together and physically comfortable. But I don't know if you always feel that way necessarily. I think maybe you kind of feel like you're on shaky ground from time to time. Or like maybe you don't fit the physical mold of what's expected. Like maybe you're not the thinnest, maybe you're like more muscular or, not the physical ideal. And I'm thinking here from the female perspective, being a female myself. But I think that maybe you think physically you don't measure up or like it's not enough or it doesn't fit what's expected. But that's not how people are perceiving you. I think other people are perceiving you as like very comfortable in who you are, especially at the physical level. Let's see, I'm going to go to your tarot cards next. And this I used as like advice on how to amplify these qualities for yourself, pile number 3. So if you don't feel, again, if you're not feeling very comfortable in yourself, this would be how to kind of ramp that up. So I'm going to go with this bottommost card first, which was, this is actually the first card that we drew for you from this tarot deck, which is the 8th house tarot. This is the 5 of fire, equivalent to the 5 of wands in like a Rider-Waite deck. And this is Saturn in Leo. Saturn already, I think, is associated with work. It's like accomplishing goals, getting work done, being steadfast. And then Leo is very much a pleasure seeker. Great in the home. They love to make things feel cozy. They also kind of like being the center of attention and being recognized for positive things. So when I'm reading this Saturn in Leo on this card, I'm thinking that, again, like you're somebody who thinks that you have to work really hard to be comfortable, but actually you don't. On a typical deck, we see on the 5 of fire, 5 of wands, we see people who are competing. And I'm going to flip this actually, because now we can see like there's all these advertisements going on in the background. And this sort of fits what I'm talking about with a traditional deck, that there's a lot of competing for attention in the modern world. And there's so many beautiful people out there and people are like good at a lot of different things. Like they have so much talent that I think maybe pile number 3, you feel like you kind of get lost in the background. And like all these advertisements, like it feels very difficult to measure up to everything else that's being put out there. But the lesson here is, remember, you are your own person. And so you might not be appealing to everybody and not everybody's going to notice you. Like maybe they're getting distracted by all these other things going on. But the people that are drawn to you for very authentic reasons. And so don't doubt that. Like the fact that they notice you in like all this other stuff going on in the background, that should be sign enough that like they see something special. They could have gone somewhere else. They could have chosen something completely different and they didn't. They chose you. So rest easy in that, pile number 3. And I think from that you can draw maybe a little bit more stability, which we called out in that root chakra card. Leave that turned that direction. I kind of like it there. Ooh. Got the Wheel of Fortune represented by Jupiter and the number 10. And Jupiter is actually like a very good luck, abundant sign. It's like all about having the things that you want and luxuriating in that and just wishes fulfilled. And we do see some dice being tossed here that it's like, it's kind of like a gamble, which I feel that like it's a gamble. It's a toss-up, really. Like, who's going to be attracted to you, who's not? What's going to work and what's not? Are you going to get the support that you need, or are you not? I feel like maybe there's some back and forth in your mind here. But again, like Jupiter is a very successful planet. It's like, it's so big, it's so magnetic, it's so large. I mean, it's the closest thing in size to the sun within our solar system, that it has this power of magnetism, almost like this centrifugal force that we see being represented on the card. It's like that spin and that power and that size is enough to draw things to it. And that's a positive quality to have. That's a good luck thing. And I think it means that like you're great at attracting positive things as well. So again, I feel like if you're wondering like, why are people drawn towards me? I don't get it. You kind of need to trust it, that they feel drawn towards a good thing. And it's a toss-up. It's a gamble to take a risk on people or things, or hope that it all works out. But I do feel like you're the kind of person that really attracts that, and you attract wealth and plenty, having enough, which again is another association with our root chakra card here. So I feel like it's you have a lot of good luck too, but maybe you don't realize it. Okay, let's look at this last card here, and oh, we have Uranus, the Fool. As I'm looking at this card, I feel like it's someone who feels lost, maybe. Like, again, like there's so much distraction going on here with this Five of Wands, that it's kind of like you feel like you want to be solitary, because we see this figure out here on this cliff, and they're sort of suspended, and it's like you're out here alone. There's nothing else going on. The White Rose also says something about purity of heart to me, that it's kind of like you feel lonely, and maybe like people don't recognize you, which also brings me back to Saturn and Leo. Like you feel like you have to work so much just to get the attention that you want. But again, I do feel like people notice you. People are paying attention. And again, it's like you might be a little bit unusual. You might be kind of like off the beaten path, which I'm also thinking with this cliff here. Like maybe your perception of yourself is that you're kind of strange or like a little quirky, but there are people who get that and appreciate it. And again, like you can rest assured in that if they're choosing you deliberately. And then also you can choose other people deliberately that you want to be around and be close to. And you can choose the things that you want in your life. Like I wouldn't necessarily run away from all of this distraction. I think this is all opportunity to really take a close look at all of the options being presented and decide what it is that you want as well. So there's maybe how you can bring some more attractiveness into your life and attract the things and people that you want. We have two more cards here, which I don't know if you remember, but we drew two of these Wild Unknown Archetype cards for you. So let's see what some of this additional advice might be. Start with the first one. Oh, okay. The Venom. We have 33 as the card number. And I don't know if you can see, but like in this mouth, we've got some fangs coming down, and we have this moon here, this sort of like rising out of obscurity. I'm going to think on that and flip over the next one. Number 7, the Poet. Okay, so immediately, as I'm looking at this and thinking of the Poet, I'm drawn back to the idea again that like, you might be somebody who's kind of like an adventurous heart, or like a hopeless romantic, that you kind of just feel like you don't fit, or like you're not made for the modern world is something that comes to mind. And also maybe even like an old soul, that you feel like you don't fit. There's definitely something that's like a little bit unusual and artistic and kind of out there for you. Maybe even being a little ahead of your time. Pile number 3. And the Venom. Between these two cards, I feel like there is some opposition. So like the poet would be somebody who really idealizes and wants to encapsulate their ideals into words, like wants to make it concrete and something that's able to be expressed. And the Venom, I feel this sense that like there's something that always taints that or poisons that or like creeps in and sort of like ruins it. So I feel like for you, pile number 3, some additional advice would again be like you're in control of that whole process. Like however much you let creep in and permeate your awareness as far as this, venom or venomous influence versus the ideals that you hold on to. I'm seeing this moon, and then I'm also seeing like what could be a moon between this person's hands. Like you're in control and you're creating your own world and you're holding that. And so I think feeling like it could be taken away from you, or like as we have this jaw like coming forward to consume that, it's really all within your control. And I think it's just your fear that it can be ruined or taken away or broken is what's controlling you at the moment. So just remember, like you create your own experience. I was looking at this quote. It was Anais Nin. I'm trying to remember exactly how it was phrased, but it was that like we don't really see the world, we see ourselves. And so whatever perception it is you have of yourself, that's what you're going to find in the world. And so again, being very centered in yourself and realizing that you can control your own experience is enough to ground you to be able to approach the world in such a way that you don't feel controlled by it, or you don't feel like it's, sinking its teeth into you. You're able to kind of direct that experience and get more enjoyment out of it. So that's maybe another little piece of advice for you. Pile number 3. Okay, and the last thing I wanted to do is draw from this Louise Hay How to Love Yourself affirmation deck. You can take this and journal with it, meditate it with it. It's just a nice little affirmation. I'm going to pull this one out. It kind of seems like it was poking out its face. Okay, so this is your affirmation, pile number 3. I am free. Ooh, free. So not entrapped by whatever this is down here in that Venom card. I am free and at peace. And on the back it says, I am a free person living in a world that is a reflection. Oh my gosh, what did I just say about, we don't see the world, we see ourselves and we project that out into the world. So I am a free person living in a world that is a reflection of my own love and understanding. And so I think maybe this final piece of advice for you, pile number 3, is you need to accept yourself. Like you're really great. You have so much going on for you. Like I said, you had so much fire and energy in your reading right off the bat as I was picking the cards. You can be choosy. Like you can you can choose to find the things that appeal to you, and you can have people around you that understand you and see you for who you are. So you're in control of that experience. And the more that you accept and love yourself and show understanding for yourself, I think that's going to come more to the surface, and you're going to feel like you're drawing more and more towards you what it is that you actually want. So best of luck, pile number 3. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me for more readings like this. You can also book a one-to-one reading on my website. But until then, we'll catch you next time. Bye.